about how you feel about the casting. I'm trying to spread the word. But going back to this game, we do have JMoneyGaming as the red Protoss in the left, and on the right we have Delirious as the blue Terran in the right. Even though I said right twice. Now I'm forgetting myself, just trying to get through these, but I don't want to reduce the quality because I'm trying to get through them. So we keep going. We have a late pylon from, or maybe I'm just mistaken because of the speed up, but that pylon does go down. No immediate cheese, as we do see very often on this map, due to such a short distance on that very awkwardly placed choke point here. The probe will be running around the base, seeing that gas is taken from the Terran. No gas yet for the Protoss. He does only have the gateway. Usually you want to throw down at least one gas at this point in PvT, sometimes even two. Luckily, though, I remember seeing a video where the Terran could move the SCV inside of the geyser and cancel the refinery that it was making, and it would have the SCV in the geyser. You could not build the gas for the Protoss there until the SCV was moved, and people would do that and rush with Reapers. It was on a When Cheese Fails or Will Cheese Fails, something from Lad TV. It was a very interesting video. I laughed quite a bit. Even a few of my friends who don't play StarCraft too much did laugh at the video because it was so insane. Definitely check that out. Though we do have the Cybercore on the way, and still only on one gas. Might go for an early expand build otherwise, because we usually do see that second gas taken, definitely for myself in PvT, but everybody has their own style. Keep on making SCVs, keep on making probes. No probes on the way just yet, though. He does want to start spending his money. He is supply bought, and that will be the cause of all of that hassle. We'll see what tech he goes here soon, or if he does go for an early expand. Looks like he is going to start making the Zealot and the Warp Gate. A lot of people will skip that Zealot for a faster Stalker, but I've always enjoyed it. I think Zealots are very good, even in the early game when they don't have charge or don't have too many force fields to lock units in. They do generally scare away the Terran army. We will speed this up just a tad bit. Another gateway coming out, as well as an engineering bay coming out for the Terran. No other real tech. The second gas is down for the Protoss, throwing down that Stargate. I believe that is actually a decent time for the Stargate. I don't know about it for myself, but I do know that the 5-minute Stargate that I did see, or the 5-minute Oracle that I did see, was on this map. It was a proxy that was put right here, and if somebody wants the link to that video, I will find it again. It was very hard for the Terran to defend. I know that I did get one free win off of it, and then another time I did mess up the build, but that's beside the point. We don't need to worry about that. We only need to worry about the good things. We do see the Stim started, as well as a Marauder coming out, as well as that +1, a very early +1. Will help him if he goes for a timing push, which is often seen from Terran at all levels of play, really. Excuse me. We do have an Oracle on the way, being chrono boosted out so it can get there that much faster. Not so much a cheese when the Stargate is not proxied. Definitely when it's right here in the Terran's third, but we are not looking at a cheese. We are looking at a lot of Marauders being made, though, and not so many Marines. 6 Marines, rather, is enough to take down an Oracle. You need only 5 to kill that Oracle. 4 will fall to the Oracle, however, but with a total of 6, if they are microed correctly, he will be quite alright against this incoming Oracle. He also already has the Engineering Bay, so if he does get missile turret very soon, he will be in even better shape. Some of the Marines moving out. 4 Marines is not the number you want. 2 more are being made, however. So hopefully he will be safe. I don't know. These Marines must be checking for some kind of proxy. Usually you only need to send out 1 for that. He does go straight for the Mule. That was his best target, taking out that extra economy boost from the Terran. And he can take out these Marines. Those are a nice few free kills for him. Very good for our Protoss player, JMoney, to pit those up. That was a very nice pickup. Now he can move into the main base a lot safer. And we see only Zealots being made from the gateway, but now we see 3 more Zealots being worked in, using all of that gas for other purposes. He does have 4 dates now. Starting a Twilight Council, might move into that Dark Templar tech or something of that sort, maybe for some weird kind of Archon timing as well, due to the fact that scans and missile turrets are a possibility from the Terran, especially with that early Oracle on the field. Speaking of which, where is that Oracle? He is just chilling out in the Protoss's base now, doesn't want to do too much else. A few units, a scouting force, usually again if you want to send something out to the front you only need to send one unit, otherwise you might throw away too many and you will be in a bad spot. I do believe that concussion shells are done, yes they are. That will definitely hurt the Zealot's effectiveness if the Terran does micro back and scoot and shoot, especially with that stim pad that is already upgraded. So many Zealots though, I would like to see what he has in store here for the Terran. Another Oracle on the way to deal with the Marine count. Again, I only want to send one unit though. Those Zealots being taken out of position, and that is a very bad spot for the Protoss, but they're not being microed back. While the Zealots will die, they will do quite a bit of damage in the meantime. He will want to use that Photon Overcharge if Terran does push in. The natural will have to be cancelled though. Terran is going to stay on one base. He does use the Photon Overcharge, though the Terran was not pushing in just yet. The Terran would be smart to have let that finish though, but he will get the cancel on it, saving those minerals for the Protoss, and the Protoss now transitions into 4 Stalkers rather than those Zealots. Probably a much better choice since he does have that stim pack. If you take out enough Marines, the Oracle can do the rest of the job, as well as the Mothership Core, and it will take out 2 Marines. He does need to just get that in there. As I start to get a little bit of some form of backup in my throat, but anyways, the Photon Overcharge as well as the Mothership Core will take out the rest of this army. Still getting a lot of free damage from that Photon Overcharge, a very helpful ability. The Oracle though, the Oracle has 11 kills, plus the other ones from the other Oracle. We have a total of 12 SCVs killed, now 13. That number will go up once that Oracle gets energy again, but for now it does have to fly away. We have Zealots and a Mothership Core here to defend the main base, and Terran down to only 27 supply. He only has a total of 9 SCVs. The rest of his army, or the rest of his supply, is right here and moving across the map. If Protoss has enough for another Photon Overcharge, he will be okay. Otherwise, he might be in bad shape. That Oracle does not have the energy to attack this army. So sadly, our Protoss looks to be in a bad spot. Does start the Photon Overcharge, and the Mothership Core doesn't die either. That is actually very important. These probes don't want to be by this army though. Just let them just take damage. It won't die from 4 Marauders. Luckily the Mothership is attacking again, and the probes will go back to mining. 3 more Zealots. I would like to see more Stalkers here. They would be a lot more effective, even though there are Marauders. With that stim and concussive shells, they can be tided to the end of time, since the Zealots do not have that charge upgrade or anything supporting them. Other than that, we do have a missile turret back here, but it can't protect from an Oracle coming from this side of the base. JMoney's saying that they're both back at the start, and both of them have very low economy. Only 9 SCVs compared to 14 probes. These units might get cleaned up before having to cancel that natural, which would be very helpful, but these Marines, only 4 Marines, and guess what? Oracle can definitely fight 4 Marines, so there it goes, taking out the Marauders as well. Very efficient Oracle for JMoney, up to 18 kills rather, being a master amongst its peers. A well-respected individual. And here comes the Mothership Core to not do damage, running away instead. I'm not too sure why. Definitely, I don't know why he canceled that natural, but maybe he has a plan that I am not seeing just yet. We will see. Terran is down by about 10 supply, and that is mostly going to be workers. 5 of that is in workers. The Protoss army is about Zealots and an Oracle, as well as that Mothership Core, which has enough energy almost for another Photon Overcharge if Terran does try to push in for a 3rd time, but we will not see that just yet. We will speed this up a bit since the action seems to have died down a bit. Not really in teching up, but that Void Ray is coming out for the Protoss, and we will see that the Terran is trying to take an expansion. This probe might go down for a hidden expansion or might be looking for one as well. The charge upgrade started, one of my favorite upgrades in the game overall, so I would definitely like to see that, especially with this many Zealots. He does have 10 on the field already at 14 minutes in the game, and that is the bulk of his army, which will be very helpful against this Terran army since it is only bio with no medevac support at all, or siege change, no area of effect damage at all. Those Hellbats would be very effective here since he could definitely afford a factory at this point, but instead trying to offer cookies, he actually could very extremely easily move out here, but sometimes you don't see these things. The Void Ray alone, the Oracle alone, could take out this army. Hopefully he doesn't waste Oracle energy on this. He doesn't really need to, and there he goes, taking out the Marauders and getting that hidden base, which Terran probably won't scout, that isn't in the normal drop path since these bases are up at the top. So we will see that hidden base probably growing to prosper, bringing many minerals to the Protoss army rather. The Dart Shrine going down. Not a lot of detection except for one missile turret right here. There is the one in the main base in the mineral line, but if he can just sneak right here, that will be far out of this missile turret's range. So that'll be very good for our Protoss friend. We see another Nexus going down, taking his natural. That's a lot of investment since he is getting that hidden base down here, but if he can hold both, then that will be very helpful to his economy, leaving him in the lead. He is at 20 probes to only 11 SCVs, but those mules allowing the Terran to still be ahead in mineral income. No gas being mined for our Protoss opponent, only about 100 for our Terran. He is on those 2 gases, or rather only 1 gas it would seem. He does want to fix that if he wants to afford any units, but he is floating gas right now. Throwing down a factory finally. Not if you are floating as Terran, then the best thing is also to throw down another command center, but he has wasted all of his money. I think that is in queued up units. A few new units being queued up. I don't know where the rest of his money went, honestly. He threw down the orbital, but that is just me. Maybe I missed something. He does have this base made, but he has nothing mining from it. So you do want to change that rather soon. The +1 weapons coming out, you usually want to get that +1 armor instead, especially with Zealots, since they already do a decent amount of base damage. With that charge upgrade, they will also be in the Terran's face, but the Marines doing so much damage to those Zealots unless they have that armor upgrade. So you definitely want to get that pretty early. It will make them a lot more effective against the Zealots and tanking in general for the rest of your units as the game progresses. A Dart Templar being mixed in with the rest of his Zealot friends. We will see how that goes on. More probes finally being made down here. Probes at each base. These ones are rallied down to the natural. That's probably the best thing you could do since this base is almost mined out. Still not mining gas though. He really needs to get on that so that way he can afford more of these Dart Templar, more of these upgrades, as well as different units besides just Zealots. One Banshee could come in here and have a field day, honestly, especially if it had Cloak. That'd be a very bad time if it hit from this side or down here. But luckily, Terran is not going for anything like that. We haven't seen very many Cloaked Banshees in Heart of the Swarm, something that I'm very happy about, because those are always very annoying to deal with in Winds of Liberty. We do see Medevats finally coming out, though. Usually those come out at around the 10-minute mark, but with this push and the oddly timed natural, we do not see that coming out nearly by the time that we normally would be used to. We do see the gases being taken at the natural, but still not being used in the main. That's going to be an issue. The longer that continues, the more it will hurt him. The Widow Mine coming out here soon, which will be effective since there isn't too much detection for the Protoss. No Robo out. He could use the detection on the Oracle, but that will be one shot if it does fly into the Widow Mine, something that I'm always just a little bit annoyed about. Wish they would change that, but they are thinking about making Oracles just a tad bit faster in retaliation. Protoss is going to be supply blocked, so he won't be making any more units for a time. He will be making 48 ways though, allowing him to make a lot of units. We will see one pylon down, but he will definitely want a lot more of that, a lot more of those, and he is using his money pretty well, but he definitely wants to use that gas as soon as possible. The Terran army is going to move out with these 2 Medevats. One of them is full, will go in for a drop in the main base. Let's hope he doesn't take his entire army back there, because that is the worst way to respond to a drop. Even though you do take care of it, you will 9 times out of 10 lose something else very important to you, which is more than likely a main or your natural base, or a third, as we had in a game prior tonight. This will come in for the drop. It will see the Dart Shrine and the Twilight Council. It will be in a little bit of shock. Also, another thing is Protoss, you always want to be careful on your building placement. You don't want to leave places where your units can't get to, or your Zealots can't get to very easily. So that'll make these drops that much harder to deal with. Let's see how he responds to it. If at all. He has a few Zealots warped in and 2 more here, and then the rest of his army is going to fight the Terran. Right here, the scan does go down to take care of those Dart Templar. The Oracle, yes, the Oracle is being used, and the Zealots just taking so much damage with their, just having so much high base health and damage, doing a lot to the Terran, but this drop still being very effective. More Stalkers now being warped in. Those are going to be very effective for killing the Medevac as well as that Marine, or those Marines. The Dart Shrine may go down, though. No, he does steer the Medevac away. Almost gets it. Oh, one more shot would have killed it. We do see the Zealots and the Starters all coming back together, all going to join together, hold hands for a bit, hopefully go fight the Terran, because he knows he is ahead after all of that. If we look at the units, we see that there are now still more probes than SCVs, and Protoss is still on those 3 bases. Still not mining the gas from 2 of his bases, though. Finally using these ones at the natural, but he definitely missed out on using these ones, which will hurt him. Excuse me. Going back to production, Terran just has everything and anything, making 2 more refineries being made at his natural, another command center being thrown down, that +2 weapons for his bio, more refineries being thrown down, probably going to make some more Widow Mines, possibly Hellbats, since he did see so many Zealots, both of which are very effective against those Zealots. I know that the Widow Mines don't one-shot them, but with so much area of effect damage, they will take out a lot of those Zealots when they are charging the Terran army. And it also is a lot harder for Zealots to get that surround compared to how it is for Zerglings, so there's a lot less chance for friendly fire, making those Widow Mines very effective. Desperately trying to defend this Dark Shrine, though, he is going to set up cannons over here. He does have a bit of a fortification for any future drop, and this medevac, one shot from literally anything in the Protoss arsenal that can shoot up besides a sentry, will kill that medevac. And that is a very dangerous mission. He will fly into a cannon first thing if he does not see it, especially if he uses boost or something like that. It might be too late. Oh, okay, he does see it. Not losing those units. That would be a very big loss for him if he did fly into that. But we do see more pylons going down. Protoss is supply blocked, but he is ahead by about 30 supply. Still making SCVs is the Terran. Protoss still now at 45 probes, at a very large lead in terms of worker count. If we look at the income, we see that Protoss is ahead by about 400 minerals, but is tied on gas due to not using his geysers at all of his bases. Main base not making or not mining at all at any of the 2 basically mined out mineral patches or at the extractors, or at the assimilators rather. Too many Zerg games tonight, it would seem. But we do have this base in full swing. Terran isn't aware of it. And we do have this Oracle. This Oracle has 27 kills at the end of the day, and it's going to fly down and see this base actually right when it lands. That's a very big thing to see, because Protoss will know that he has to hit some form of timing to stop this. You do want to keep the Terran on as low base as possible. These Zealots might be on the way. Of course, these might be those My Life for Ire Zealots, because they will run straight into a planetary, and he did see that forming. He will want to be careful with that. Maybe sending a probe from down here to make a Prazzi. Vikings coming out, even though he started no tech such as the no Robotech, so I'm not too sure about the Vikings. Something he probably just is making by instinct. But this dropship definitely needs to land, get repaired. But that doesn't seem to be happening. So many Zealots. He has about 14, I'm going to say. 8 and 6, yes, that is definitely 14, and those could do enough damage if they get the surround on the planetary, but it is still going to be pretty risky. The Oracle coming in here could kill the mules before the Zealots move in. We will see what happens. They are going to go straight charging in there, though. We will see a lot of damage going on that. The units are being killed, though, or the mules are going to be repairing, but are being killed by that Oracle. And the planetary will go down, but we do see a drop over here that might drop into the natural. 4 Marauders will do a lot of damage to buildings, and I believe a 2-shot worker, so that will be a lot of damage if that lasts for long. The Protoss army is right over here, though, so it probably won't do too much damage if it is responded to in an apt amount of time. 5 gateways going down in this bottom expansion, somewhere where his Terran still has not even close to scouted. This drop, though, coming in is going to start doing, or hitting those workers. Apparently it takes 3 shots. I was thinking, oh, I forgot that they only do 12 damage to those light units. But if he had a single Phoenix, actually, he could take down these very low health metabats that we keep seeing. And I know earlier I said I didn't like Phoenixes in PvT, but you can always have a few for a situation like this. And now these Marauders are going to get another few free kills. Finally, this was being mined for that extra gas, but now it's all too late. The cannon being taken out. The Dark Shrine might go down this time. Again, don't want to send your entire army, because if the Terran attached behind that, he'd be in a very bad spot. This is going to be very close, but I think the Dark Shrine will go down. There it goes, and the medevac just gets out, possibly actually almost being trapped. That cannon doing a decent amount of damage, but now these Zealots taking out a bunker, but that's about it. Down by about 30 supply is the Protoss, or is the Terran rather. Protoss ahead by about 13 workers and has a decently sized army of a nice mix of Dart Templars, Zealots, and Archons, as well as a little bit of air actually thrown in there. Not the most effective against Terran, especially when they have so many Marines, but still a pretty good mix in general. He does want to set out a proxy pylon. So many Zealots being warped in will take out these Widow Mines if they are on the attack move. We will see they are not on the attack move, they are just on that move command. Something you definitely want to fix. Those were 2 free pickups for him. If he does send any more units through here, they will take a lot of damage from those Widow Mines. We will see though, this army all grouped up and together. They are ready to take on the world. Let's see if they do it though. They definitely have the area of effect damage with the Archons. They definitely have the surround with the Zealots. We will see what he chooses to do here. Where were those Zealots warped in? They were warped in right here. And if they move across here, a lot of them will take a decent amount of damage. Don't want to let that happen, though. So many gateways are down, actually, for our Protoss, though. He has a total of 13 warp gates, and that will allow him to reinforce this army at any point that he needs to. But I don't even think that he will need to, with so many Zealots coming in, kiting and stimming at a very late time. He could throw down that time warp to stop the stimming, but it doesn't even look like he needs to do that. More SCVs than units here to defend against this, but it looks like the Terran will actually hold, except for these DTs. These Dart Templars are doing quite a bit of damage to the rest of this Terran army. 5 Zealots moving in here as well. The DT is just chopping through everything. There's more than enough energy for a couple scans, but he's not doing it yet. Moving into that missile turret, and these Marauders will fall to the Zealots and Dart Templar team, and Terran doesn't have any production going on. Something you really want to be doing while you're fighting is get that production, just so in case of this scenario you can deal with it. This Dart Templar will be quite the hero. He is an instructor already. The Zealot and the Disciple, he's going to learn, and the Archon, an Executor, whatever. Point is that Terran is in a terrible location. Get it? Yes, Terran terrible, whatever. We will see this Archon cleaned up though, but Terran is down to only 16 SCVs, and this base is lifted up. We can't do much off of that. The Dart Templar, so many Dart Templar were just warped in. And those are going to be made into a total of 6 Archons. With these Zealots, we'll be able to take on the world, really. They can really fight anything that the Terran can throw out at this point. He only has Marines, and if we look at the production, he only has the upgrades coming out, which his upgrades are surprisingly good, especially since the Protoss is only on that +1. That will definitely help the Terran in these engagements, but it won't be enough when he only has a handful of Marines and Medevats and a random Viking against this large Zealot Archon army. So we'll speed this up to see the final few moments, I would believe. More and more Archons being warped in for that giant amount of area of effect damage. Terran moving all of his SCVs and mules down to this base, and Protoss taking the entire left side of the map besides the normal third base location if it was not a hidden third base that he took down here. But we do see him probably moving out soon. That is the most amount of Archons I have seen in a long time, and yet another one comes out. A total of 13 or 11 rather coming out. I forget that there's 8 per row. Wow. But still only Bio coming out. He's not responding to this at all. He could get Hellbats, he could get Widow Mines, he could get anything besides Bio, yet he only gets Bio. These mines doing a lot of damage actually to that front line of Zealots, and this one as well doing more. Apparently they might actually do that one shot. I thought the Zealots survived though, through at least one hit. They don't want to be engaging this army in that line formation. This is not the Renaissance days, or rather Revolutionary days, where you attack in a line. No, we attack in big, large clumps of just death, and that's what happens here. And everything falls to the Protoss army. Terran does call GG, and he does leave the game. And that game boiled down to Terran not making anything. I mean, he actually had a decent production off of those 2 bases, and he did finally get his third down for the second time. The Protoss did have that hidden third for quite a long time, and it was never taken out, never even started. This base was here. Protoss did have a small problem in not using his gases for a very, very long time, though. That could have helped him close out this game a lot sooner. Even then, the Terran did lose. Good job for JMoney, and thank you for sending in that